Let's get started with our first big news. Michael "Venom" Page may have made a huge statement in the middleweight division by halting Shara Magomedov's rise, but he is far from done with the welterweight division. In his last fight, Page shocked the MMA world by agreeing to move up to middleweight to take on the dangerous Shara Bullet earlier this month. Many believe Magomedov was a future contender at 185 pounds, but Page defied expectations and secured a decision victory, proving that his striking and fight IQ were more than enough to take on elite middleweights. However, despite this major win, Page has made it clear that his primary focus remains the welterweight division. During a recent appearance on the Overdogs podcast, MVP revealed that he has his eyes set on two of the biggest names in the division, former champion Kamaru Usman and former interim champion Colby Covington. And I think the reason why I like the Colby fight is because obviously a lot of my thing is people saying, oh yeah, keep him against strikers. No, I want people to see me against wrestlers as well and see that I can overcome these guys and beat these kinds of guys too. Cause then after that, what else is there to be said? Page is clearly confident in his ability to take on elite grapplers and wants to silence the critics who believe his flashy striking style wouldn't hold up against high-level wrestlers. But could either of these fights actually happen? Looking at the current welterweight rankings, Kamaru Usman sits at number 3, while Page is positioned at number 15. This ranking gap makes it unlikely that Usman would consider the fight unless he was specifically looking for an exciting, fresh matchup. On the other hand, Colby Covington might be a more realistic option. Chaos is coming off a tough loss to Joaquin Buckley and has slid down to number 9 in the rankings. With his stock dropping, a fight with an exciting striker like Page could be the perfect opportunity for Covington to bounce back. So what do you think? Would Usman or Covington be willing to take on Page? And which matchup would you rather see? Moving on to the next news. Ilia Topuria versus Dustin Poirier leaked. Oliveira versus Tsarukyan 2 might have just leaked. On the Weighing In podcast, Thompson and Big John McCarthy reacted to the Georgian fighter vacating his featherweight belt, with Thompson even leaking private details about upcoming lightweight matchups. According to his sources, Arman Tsarukyan is set to fight Charles Oliveira next, leaving Topuria with 2 main options, either Islam Makhachev or Dustin Poirier. However, since Islam's manager has stated they won't entertain a fight with Ilia at this time, Thompson believes Poirier is the most likely opponent for El Matador. Big John weighed in, questioning whether Dustin would even want the fight, as the Diamond has repeatedly stated that he's only interested in fighting legends. While Ilia isn't a legend yet, McCarthy acknowledged that it's still a high-profile fight that could motivate Poirier to accept. At the same time, DP has also teased a trilogy fight with Max Holloway, a bout with history. Dustin submitted Max in their first meeting in 2012, then won a brutal rematch in 2019 for the interim lightweight title. A third fight would give Max a shot at redemption, while Dustin could cement his dominance over Blessed and head into retirement. Dustin has basically been calling for legend fights. Now, I understand when you sit there and say, well, is Ilia a legend yet? He's a former champion, so you gotta give him that. He's undefeated, you gotta give him that. So I can understand why Dustin Poirier would say, yeah, that's a fight I'll take. I think it's something that's going to motivate him, and that's what Dustin's looking for. I need to have that thing that gives me a little bit of a buzz, something that scares me a little bit. Can I throw something out there? I know Dustin keeps talking about, this is my retirement fight. Let me tell you something. I feel like there's something there. Right now, I'm hearing that it's going to be Arman and Charles again. That's one. And I'm hearing Dustin and Ilia will be this fight. Islam's kind of going through Ramadan here, and I think in another week, Ramadan starts. Then February, so he probably won't fight till International Fight Week. Moving on to another big story. Ariel Helwani slams Cejudo versus Song finish. MMA analyst Ariel Helwani has weighed in on Henry Cejudo's controversial loss to Song Yadong, expressing frustration over how the fight was officiated. Helwani strongly believes that a point should have been deducted from Song due to the accidental eye poke that compromised Cejudo. He explained that once the fight resumed after the foul, the discussion of a no contest or disqualification was no longer relevant. Instead, the bout was judged based on the scorecards, which resulted in a unanimous decision victory for Song Yadong. Helwani pointed out that that referee Jason Herzog's decision not to deduct a point had a major impact on the final outcome. He emphasized that had the point been taken away, the fight would have resulted in a majority draw rather than a clear win for Song. This, he argued, dramatically altered the narrative of the fight and robbed Cejudo of a fairer outcome. The no contest discussion is no longer a factor because the fight resumed. So now we have to go to the scorecards. And when you look at the scorecards, you will see. And we have the scorecards. Song, according to the judges, wins the fight. Look at it right here. Mike Bell, 29-28. Derek Cleary, 29-28. And Sal D'Amato trying to do Sede. Here's the rub: if Jason Herzog takes the point away, now all of a sudden it ain't 29-28 for Mike Bell. It's 28-28. It ain't 29-28 for Derek Cleary. It's 28-28. And for Sal D'Amato, it's 29-27. That's a majority draw. And so in my opinion, at best, this fight is a draw. At worst, it should have been a no contest. Helwani also criticized how Cejudo was treated post-fight, arguing that the former champion was unfairly penalized for choosing to fight through his injury. He suggested that the situation was mishandled and that the result would have been drastically different had the referee made the right call. With such a controversial finish, fans and analysts alike are debating whether the decision should be reviewed. Do you think the fight result should have been overturned? And should the UFC consider a rematch? Moving on to another major story. Topuria has allegedly refused a fight with Arman Tsarukyan. Ilia Topuria has recently made headlines with his ambitions in the lightweight division. The undefeated featherweight champion has expressed strong interest in fighting either Dustin Poirier or Charles Oliveira in his debut at 155 pounds, provided he doesn't receive an immediate title shot against Islam Makhachev. Topuria has been vocal about his belief that he deserves a title fight right away, but a source close to him has now added more fuel to the discussion, claiming that he has no interest in facing any contenders before a championship bout. According to a report from a Russian news agency, a source close to Ilia Topuria stated Ilia wants a championship fight. He will not fight for the status of a contender with Tsarukyan or anyone else. This statement has sparked debate among MMA fans, with some arguing that Topuria should prove himself in the lightweight division before earning a title shot, while others believe his undefeated record and dominance at featherweight make him a worthy challenger. UFC President Dana White recently addressed Topuria's move to lightweight and provided some insight into the UFC's current plans. When asked about the possibility of an immediate title fight for Topuria, Dana made it clear that nothing is set in stone. Is it safe to say that Ilia versus Islam is the fight that we're sort of working towards? Or could he be fighting someone else? There are still other possibilities, so there's a lot going on right now. While Dana White did not confirm whether Ilia will receive a title shot or have to fight a top contender first, his comments suggest that the UFC is still weighing their options. With Arman Tsarukyan ranked as a top lightweight contender and fresh off a dominant win, many believe he should be next in line for a title eliminator. However, if Topuria refuses to fight him, the UFC may have to reconsider their matchmaking plans. So what do you think? Should Ilia Topuria be granted an immediate title shot, or should he face a top contender first? We reported a couple of days ago that Bryce Mitchell was scheduled to grapple against Eli Barai at Karate Combat this week. Now, it has been revealed that Bryce Mitchell has pulled out of his grappling match. He stated that he has a real fight being booked right now and wants to focus entirely on that rather than a Karate Combat grappling match. Here's what Bryce had to say. I want to let y'all know I'm pulling out of my grappling match on Friday. This is my first time announcing it. Karate Combat doesn't even know yet, so I'm literally announcing it myself before I tell anybody. I don't want my words to get twisted, and I don't quite trust them with my words. So yeah, I'm pulling out of the match. The reason being, the great news is, I've got a big matchup coming up, a big fight coming up. I don't know the exact details on the fight, but I'm just telling y'all, something's coming up. And please be patient with me, okay? I'm being patient too. I want to fight too. And I can't wait for this next fight. I'm prioritizing the fight over a grappling match. It's just not worth it for me right now, knowing I've got a fight coming up. This is huge news for fight fans, as Bryce Mitchell is prioritizing his return to the cage over a grappling match. His decision to withdraw from karate combat suggests that he's focusing on something much bigger, something that could be a game changer in his career. With all this excitement building up, the question now is, who will Bryce Mitchell face next? And when will we get to see him back inside the octagon? Stay tuned for more updates, because this one is going to be massive. Dricus Du Plessis mocked Brendan Allen for his unanimous decision loss to Anthony Hernandez last night. Allen posted on Instagram after the fight saying, "Just ain't the guy I thought I was. Hats off to Anthony Hernandez. Love the guy." Dricus didn't hesitate to chime in, leaving a comment on Allen's post. He wrote, "I don't know what's next either, but I can most certainly tell you what ain't next for a very long time," followed by a laughing crying emoji. Last night at UFC Seattle, fans witnessed a brutal showdown, and Allen's loss to Hernandez was a tough one. Many believed he would put on a strong performance, but Hernandez proved to be the better man on the night. The fight showed Hernandez's relentless pressure and grappling, completely breaking Allen down over 3 rounds. Brendan Allen is known for his durability and well-rounded skill set, but last night he just couldn't find the right answers. Hernandez took control early and never let up, leaving no doubt in the judges' minds when they scored the fight in his favor. Dricus Du Plessis' comment adds salt to the wound, making it clear that he sees Allen's loss as a major setback. Fans immediately reacted, with some finding his comment hilarious, while others felt it was disrespectful. As for what's next, Allen himself admitted he's unsure. Will he bounce back stronger, or has this loss made him question his future? One thing is for sure, Dricus Du Plessis doesn't think he'll be in title contention anytime soon.